We're live. Look at that, 3 people on already. Oh man. Didn't know we were so popular. So who's on? Just type your first name or your call sign or whatever, and we'll make mention of you. Oh, Grant's on. Good. I'm an airplane buff. I wouldn't say I'm an airplane buff. What would make you think that, Grant? Just out of curiosity. Oh, okay. I'll look for that later on tonight. Because right now, my fans await. Good evening, everybody. This is Laird, VE3LKS, and welcome to Week 7, the Wednesday night edition of the COVID-19 Rag Chew. Can't believe we're on Week 7 already, but time flies when you're having fun. Anyways, we got a bit of a group going on YouTube tonight. 6 people on already there. And so at this time, I will take a standby. Make sure my keyboard is ready. Make sure I'm on the spreadsheet where I need to be. And I will start to take check-ins for the Rag Chew.
VA3, Hotel Echo Mike, so that's your mobile.
Victor Alpha 3 Delta Charlie Echo. Victor Alpha 3 Echo Juliet India. Victor Alpha 3 Bravo Alpha Hotel.
Hey, you're sneaking in, Brian. What's going on?
WJ. D3 seat anywhere. PD3 HIX. PD3 WBZ.
Okay, we had a few little pileups there, but I'll tell you what I've got so far. I've got VA3 RTV Jeffrey. I'm surprised Bob wasn't right behind him, but it didn't work out that way tonight. VA6 HEM Mike. VA3 DCE Doug. VA3 KJI Grant. VA3 BAH Brian. And Brian, what's going on here? I didn't hear you get announced on the repeater. You must be coming in another method. Let's see, VA3 TPS Steve, I believe. VE3 CWR Gerard, and why are the lights flashing all of a sudden? It thinks I'm in the dark, I guess. Let's see, VE3 FJC, I believe, Walter. Not that I'm doing the call, but I think that's the call that I heard. VE3 HIX Bob, VA3 WBZ William. And I'm sure there was probably some others, so I'll take another standby and wait for you guys to check in.
VE3 Victor Golf Julia. VE3 LWJ. 3KZT. PE3 IPX. PE3 RPN.
Okay, I'll tell you what I have. I think we left off at William, WBZ. So I've got VE3 VGJ Joe, VE3 CRU Bill, VE3 LWJ Larry, VE3 KZT John, VE3 IGX Cam, VE3 RPN Scott. Anybody else that I missed?
3 Papa Whiskey Juliet.
VA3 BTQ, I didn't think you got that.
Okay, so I just heard VE3PWJ Peter and VA3BTQ Jackie. Anybody else? Okay, nothing else heard. Let's see, what do we have going online tonight? Jeff, our regular guy's back, and the grill is open. It's Roadkill Wednesday. I love it. Squirrel and rabbit on the menu. Who wants some? Oh, that's priceless. I wish the YouTube recording would record all the chats, but I don't think it does. Because I think the chats are probably more interested in me rambling on some nights, or probably most nights. Anyways, let's go way back up to the top to Jeffrey. And I do not have a topic of the evening. So whatever is on your mind tonight, if you have any questions, any concerns, need any help with anything, have suggestions for the future, by all means, it's an open mic Wednesday. Hey, what can I say? If we're having Roadkill Wednesday, we can have open mic Wednesday as well. So take it away, Jeffrey.
Yeah, thanks, Ed, and good evening, everybody. And not long ago, when I was quite ill, Bob helped me label all these boxes. And in the boxes are handhelds. Most of them are rechargeable. And so what I've been doing today, and this is the sort of thing that you do when you've got nothing else to do, is I lifted them all and recharged them all, and now I'll keep track of charging, because I found that my new radio, the ST2, the new Fusion, battery was flat and I hadn't used it, but it's a soft touch turn on, so now I'm going to keep the battery disconnected on that. And with that, back to you, Laird. Thank you.
Yeah, that just reminds me, I need to do the same thing. I do it every couple of months. I pull my radios out and throw them on the charger and see how things are going. Well, I test them first, obviously, and then throw them on the charger. But good idea. I'll put that on my to-do list and maybe work on that this week as well. VA6 HEM Mike in the portable.
Good evening, everybody on that. The A6ATM pedestrian mobile. We are out here for a walk. Beautiful afternoon. A little windy, overcast sky, sun's out. Balmy, 19 degrees, 20 degrees. So a little bit windy, but not too bad. Today we didn't do much. We just went and picked up some choke and fixed up the one amp I have upstairs. I was going through it apparently, but I am not anymore. So we are good to go. So. Fix that problem, and that's about it. So I'm probably going to make this my last round there later. Unfortunately, we're out for a walk, so we're going to enjoy the water and the ducks and everything else that we're walking around. So I'll say 7 days and catch you tomorrow evening. V3RKS, VA6 HEM pedestrian mobile.
Very good there, Mike, and thanks for checking in with us, and enjoy your walk. Yeah, if it was 19 degrees here, I'd be tempted to be out for a walk too, but it's not. It's sort of overcast and just not warm enough. It's only 11 degrees out there right now, which is, I guess in the grand scheme of things isn't too bad, but still not enjoyable weather. It's awfully damp, so I'll just hunker down here with my warm beverage. As everyone can see online. Goes good with squirrel on a stick, I guess. And we'll go from there. VA3, DCE, Doug. Oh, and I'm flashing again.
Good evening, Laird, and everybody on frequency tonight. I had a busy day today. I changed a piece of coax. The coax from my radio out to my antenna, a different distance of about 10 feet, with a 50-foot section of coax, which had to run around 3 sides of my balcony, through a hole that wasn't big enough around my air conditioner, and come back in again. I thought I'd try to short it up. So I took a 50-foot section of coax, enlarged the hole around the air conditioner, and replaced it with a 50-foot section of coax because I don't have a 30 or 40. Anyway, I'm down on 5 watts
5 watts is doing the trick, Doug. It's just slightly bit of hiss in there, but that's about it. And yeah, no problem at all. You're getting into the repeater just fine.
Thanks, Laird. That's all I need for tonight. You made my day, and we'll pass it on to the next person. Go ahead, Laird.
Okay, well, I'm glad it was that easy to make your day, Doug. Anytime. VA3 KJI Grant.
Good evening, Laird and everybody. On the net was a fairly uneventful day, I guess, but making inroads into getting my pool open for sometime when the sun actually comes out and the weather stays a little better than plus 11. Laird, I sent you an email or a YouTube thing about that King Air thing. I watched it last night. It was just amazing. It was all done on this guy's simulator, but all the air traffic control stuff was real. And this guy is the coolest guy you've ever, cool as a cucumber. And this will be my last go around. I'm not feeling all that great today, and I promised my wife I'd escort her on her hike, so I probably won't be around much longer, so I won't be here for the second round anyway. So everybody take care, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. VA3 KJI, back to you, Laird.
Excellent, Grant. Well, thanks for checking in with us, and have a nice little hike there. And enjoy the outdoors, even though it's not the greatest out there, but at least you'll be getting some fresh air in that. And yes, keep the XYL happy so that you can come back and join us again tomorrow night. Hi. Let's see, VA3 BAH Brian in Kingston.
Good evening, Laird, and everybody else on that. Thanks for taking my check-in. And yes, I am sneaking up on you using DV Switch on my Android tablet. I tell you, when I heard myself the other day coming through on my PC, that announcement is pretty annoying. So I'm glad that your artillery doesn't reach this far. And my apologies for not checking in last night. I was the net controller on our own net here in Kingston. And by the way, you've inspired me. We're starting one tomorrow, every day, 12 noon, and we're going to call it the Nooner. Back to you, Rad Shoe Patrol.
Oh my goodness. I wish you guys had an all-star link. That's worth checking in just for that. Are you going to be handing out certificates at all? Like I had a nooner in Kingston.
Well, I hadn't thought about that, but that's a great idea. So we'll have to see if there's a graphic designer within the club that can do something like that. And by the way, we have IRLP, and if correct me if I'm mistaken, but Pickering has an IRLP node, so you can check in via IRLP starting tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern.
Okay, very good. And I'll have to ask, maybe when Bob's turn comes up, HIX, he can comment on that too, because I think he said there's a way, or someone did on the repeater committee, said there's a way to bridge from what we have to IRLP or vice versa. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, because I need to get involved with that one. That's priceless. Let's see, VE3 CWR Gerard.
Good evening, everybody. Nothing much new here. Playing around, burning my fingers off here. Taking some old crystals out of PT300. And I ordered some crystals online today, US. And I'm going to put this thing back in action. The lunchbox radio. 2 channels. 6-meter job. So anyway, I just got to sit down and be patient and wait for the crystals to arrive. Geez, they're some expensive now compared to what they used to be from Les Smith and Oakville. So I hope everybody's
well and keeping well. And, I see our CH-148 is missing in action off of Fredericton, eh? Our new helicopter, they figure it went down somewhere between Italy and Greece. So that's not good news.
Ooh, that isn't good. Yeah, we'll have to keep our ears out for that. I didn't hear anything about that, but I'll have to look that up on the news later, Gerard. Thanks for that information. Let's see. VA3 TPS, Steve.
Well, good evening, Laird, and everybody on frequency tonight. I'm hoping I'm coming through a little bit better. I tinkered with the antenna a bit, but I think that's the best I could do where it is for now. Not much to report. Pretty quiet day up here, raining on and off, a little cool and windy. Watch the construction next door. The guy's up on 3 levels of scaffolding, yelling and dropping stuff. Anyways, that's about it, Laird. Back to you.
Oh, I like that. He's up on scaffolding, yelling and dropping stuff. You'll have to get some video. You're sounding a lot better, Steve. A lot better. You're almost as good as Doug on his 5 watts from Uxbridge. That's how good you are. And it's a huge improvement. Actually, probably even better than where it was previously.
Well, I got the GPS out and got the coordinates all bent this way, aimed the antenna right at the repeater, so I think that made the difference. I was about 30 or 40 degrees out with the way I had it before.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it, especially on a beam, and the more elements you have, the further off. I mean, when you're off like that, the less effective it's going to be. So that's awesome. Mark that down and use that every night, and you'll be golden, man. That sounds good. Glad you were able to get that rectified, Steve. Let's see, VE3 FJC, Walter. Sorry. Maybe I didn't hear Walter. Walter, VE3 FJC. Okay, nothing heard. We'll come back and give him a call in a few minutes. VE3 HIX, Bob, good evening.
Good evening, Laird, and good evening, everybody. To Grant, your video on the King Air, I'll have to have a look at that. My father flew the King Air for the Ministry of Transport Air Regulations branch before he retired many years ago. Trouble was they used to have to take it into small fields up north. So you clear the fence and land in a dirt field or in a grass field, and I think they touched down at about 90 miles an hour. So it was way too much airplane, and they traded that in on a twin turbo Otter, and that worked out quite well for them until there was another accident. A different story. Today I spent a fair bit of time poking around with a voltmeter and all the 12-volt batteries in the place, like on the boat and the scooter and the cars and so on. And they say anything at 12.6 volts or higher at rest after you haven't used the battery for a while is good. 12.2 volts to 12.3 volts, that's about replace soon. And anything lower than that needs a good charge up and see if it still holds it after a few days. So I found it's true. The motorbike batteries, they only do last about 4 years. Mine's just a little over 12 volts. And these great big heavy boat batteries with all the lead in them, I've got that one's about 12.5 volts, and the thing's in its 10th year. I wish they made car batteries that way. Anyway, back to you, Laird, VE3 HIX.
Yes, and I wish car batteries would die more often in the summer than in the dead of winter when it's 35 below, because it never fails. That's when mine goes, and you're out there freezing your hands off trying to get this monstrosity out from underneath the hood. Very good, Bob. Well, I'm glad you had a productive day anyways, and sounds like you had an interesting time. VE3 VGJ Joe. Oh, no, sorry. VA3 WBZ William.
VA3 WBZ Taylor. I haven't done much of anything today, fellas. Just listening to a guy talk about the battery on his motorcycle, and he's right. I've got a Gold Wing there. It's an 86, I think. I put a battery into it 3 years ago. So I haven't ridden the bike yet, but I try and keep it charged up and got to replace it again. But then I'm selling the bike too sometime. Well, I guess I have to wait till next year to sell because I don't think I can give it away this year. On radio work stuff, I've done nothing on the radio at all today. It's just been sandbagging all day, and that's about it. And Gerard, you're looking for crystals too, eh? We'll have to talk about that later on. Yeah, I guess I'll pass back to you, Laird. And I'm trying to. I've got you on YouTube, and I'm going to watch you, but I don't know how to go on, get down there where I can make comments and stuff like that. Haven't figured that part out yet.
Okay, are you seeing the comments?
No, I'm not. I've just got you on here, and I don't know how to get down to see the comments now.
Okay, I think what you have to do is you have to actually sign up for a YouTube account. It doesn't cost anything, and you don't really need to put anything on there. But once you're signed up for an account, then you'll get the live chat showing up down the right-hand side.
Okay, so what I have to do now is figure out how to sign up for a YouTube account. I probably have to sign into Google, which I've already done. And after that, I don't know where I would have to go from there because I don't see anything on the upper right-hand corner or anything like that for me to go and touch to open the screen up so I can sign into it and that.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've had to do it, so I'm not sure either, to be honest with you. But maybe one of the other guys can comment as we go through the list here, and we'll find that out for you, William, and get you set up there. So yes, if anybody knows how to do that when it's your turn, please let William know. VE3 VGJ Joe.
Good evening there and everybody on frequency. Comment about Gerard said about that helicopter. I saw that on the news. I'm going to follow that a little bit. One of our helicopters down. And also heard on the news there, I guess the Snowbirds are going to do a tour. They're starting out on the East Coast and going to come across Canada and fly many of the areas. So that's going to be something to see. We'll probably look forward to that in the next few weeks. And also, I got a loan of a nice drill there to pop a hole in the basement wall here to put a piece of conduit through so I could run my some antenna wires through rather than having it over the window ledge and a couple blocks of wood there high. So that's a little project I'm going to do in the next few days. And one last little thing, they got us wearing surgical masks at work now. What a pain that is, especially when we're all spaced out in a huge area. Anyway, it's kind of funny. That we're doing that. Yeah, I guess it's for the best. Back to you there, Larry.
Oh yes, and they're warm too, and most of them don't vent air properly because they don't have a purge valve on them. So you have to exhale through the material, which then causes your glasses to steam up and all sorts of fun stuff. So I know what you're going through. I always make sure I get the ones with the purge valve, so it saves me a bit. And yeah, Joe, just a quick question about the hole in your wall. Are you putting in like what, a 3-inch hole for a piece of white PVC to go through?
It's going to be two-inch holes. What my plan is there, that's to put through there, and yeah, basically a PVC pipe there. One will be for antenna, and the other one will be for some control wiring.
Okay, excellent. I know that's one of the best things I ever did in my shack was put a hole through the concrete and PVC pipe, and when you get all your cables there, you just stuff some fiberglass insulation in it so the mice don't come in and out. And then when you need to run more cable or remove cable, you just pull it out, pull the fiberglass out, and pull the cables through, and you're set again. So it's a nice little setup, and you're thoroughly going to enjoy that, especially in the winter time when the wind is howling. You won't have any leaks there right by your desk. VE3 CRU Bill, and we have a long list tonight, guys. We had 18 people check in on the first go around, so. I'd say we're about 2/3 of the way through it. So if I haven't gotten to you yet, don't worry, I haven't forgotten you. We will get to you. Take it away, Bill. VE3LKS.
VE3CRU here. Okay, to start the day off, 7:30 to 8 o'clock. No frills for the seniors shopping half hour. Other stores give you 1 hour, 7 to 8 there, but it was enough time. I got what I needed done. I still got a few groceries still in the car that won't freeze or won't melt. So, anyway, got that in. I'm a bit tired today there. I had other things on the go, but I was trying to help a newbie who was all excited. He got a 6-element beam from me, and he just, in the last few days, acquired an H17. So he's trying to use the QRP H17 from somewhere west of Georgetown, down that neck of the woods, trying to get me on simplex. But he's one of these antenna covenant restricted subdivisions and all that, and he's got houses in the way, so he didn't make it. I did establish that he was using the right antenna output for it and what have you there, but I did not ask him if he's running on 500 milliwatts instead of 5 watts. Even if he was, he should have heard me because I was running 100 watts to a 4-element beam myself. So anyway, as I say, other than that, you were saying about other things that people need help with. How about a course on barbering 101? I think sooner or later we're all going to look like a bunch of ragamuffins, as they would say. Aye, aye. Back to you, Larry.
Oh, I forgot. You're not watching us on YouTube. Yeah, look at my long hair. I haven't worn a hairstyle like this, I don't think, since before the year 2000. But the haircuts of the 70s are back in style, Bill. And yeah, it's either you risk it and give yourself a real hatchet job, or you just take it right down to the wood and leave just stubble there and let it grow back in again. Hi. William, I forgot to mention, you have a motorcycle. There's quite a few guys in our club that have motorcycles, so we almost need to have a sub-chapter, the North Shore Amateur Radio Club / Motorcycle Club, because there's quite a few of the guys that do have motorcycles, and get you guys all together and head out on a highway type thing. Larry, VE3LWJ, good evening.
It's Larry. Good evening, everyone. Nothing much new here. We've been pretty inactive, haven't really turned the wheel. We've been trying to do some yard work and got everything ready to put down grass seed, and I was going to do it today, but it was just too windy. And it's come up 7:30, time to go out and bang pots and pans with the neighbors. So back to you. I'll try to catch you on the next round. Bye for now.
Okay, very good, Larry. You should do it in Morse code so it really throws people off and become the talk of the town. Excellent, Larry. Well, it's nice that you can go out there and show your support for everybody, and that's a great way to do it. And let's see, Alex AMP just checked in on YouTube, and he says he's just going to check in online. He's going to bed soon. It's been a busy week, and he needs to get up early. And not to mention, that man needs his beauty sleep. Anyways, very good, Alex. We'll write you down in the log, and yes, get that sleep because we don't want you in the ditch in the morning. Let's see. We'll go down to VE3KZT John. Oh, and Jeffrey and Bob, listen to his signal for the first little bit and watch it. Probably won't drop out, but if it's like other nights, you'll hear a little drop out once in a while.
Oh, okay. Good evening, Laird, and all those on net. Not doing anything today here. A little windy, a little too windy to do much. But I have a couple of questions. Is there anybody in the club that's involved in parks on the air? And it looks like something we could do, or I could do, when you're kind of confined, kind of not being able to walk too well.
Yes, V3HIX. It sounds like your push to talk isn't being held all the way in somehow, or there's a problem with the switch, and but it picks up again immediately before the the squelch tail drops off. Back to you, Larry.
Side.
Oh, I think John was talking too. You might want to repeat that, Bob.
Sorry about that. I think everybody heard that is push to talk sounds like it's being released. It's either not being held in all the way, or there's a problem with the switch, perhaps. But it cuts back in before the squelch tail on the repeater drops. So there's a hitch, a hiss, and a glitch as he speaks. Over.
Okay, very good. So I wasn't hearing things. Excellent, because you guys, you and Jeffrey were telling me I was making things up last night. Hi. Now, as far as Parks on the Air goes, John, I'm not aware of anybody in the club who's actively doing that. I have been tempted, though. I was gonna try to activate a few parks this summer and see if I could get a few guys involved. But I guess it's all going to depend on whether we can actually get into them or not now. Although I guess you could go set up right at the entrance maybe, and if you're running mobile, do it that way. John, are you still with us?
Yes, sir. I heard on the news today they're talking about opening some of the parks May 1st. Now, I'm sure it's still going to be a thing about keeping your distance, but if we're running a mobile, that shouldn't be a problem. But I was just curious if there's anybody who's been involved, so maybe I could learn something from that group.
Yeah, I'm getting all sorts of grief from guys online about my hat and the lights flickering. Yeah, very good. And let me just take a quick standby, John. Is there anybody else on here that's doing the Parks on the Air? If so, identify yourself at the moment.
BA3, BAH.
Okay, go ahead, Brian. Are you doing the Parks on the Air?
Well, you may know that during 2019 we had our own Canadian version of Canadian National Parks on the Air that ended on the 31st of December. There's been some talk with doing it every year, just like the ARRL does. But we're in limbo as well because the parks are all closed. And here, we've got the Rideau Canal system as well, which was considered a national park. And some of the Thousand Islands are considered national parks as well. So, but if you're interested in doing something now, your best bet is just to check out the ARRL website and go drive up to the entranceway and see if you can make any contacts, because there's nothing official happening right now. I hope that helps you. And back to you, Rag 2 Control.
Okay, very good. John, did you catch all that?
Yes, sir, I did. And thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, my end, I know it's sort of been up in the air, but I think I've heard that they were planning on continuing it this year, making it just sort of an ongoing thing, like Islands on the Air and stuff like that. So let's hope they do that, and we'll continue on making contacts with the parks, because, I mean, goodness knows there's lots of parks here in Ontario that could be activated. Let's see. VE3 IGX Cam, good evening.
Good evening, Laird, and everyone else on frequency tonight. I was just laughing at some of the comments on the sidebar there from RPN. All I did today was did some spring cleaning early this morning, and then I rested all afternoon, and that was about it. So we'll give it on back to you.
Man, if you keep up with all that spring cleaning, Cam, you won't have to do any cleaning in the fall. That place, you'll be able to eat off your driveway pretty soon. Hi. Very good. And yeah, it's just too bad it wasn't a bit warmer because you and the guys could get out on your bikes and go for a nice trip in the country. And speaking of RPN, VE3 RPN, Scotty, it's your turn. Get away from the cantina.
Yes, anyway, I need a bathroom now there, Laird, after all that wonderful stuff. V3LKX, V3RPM. Not much of a day there. Actually, there was when I left to come up to get in my high point here at Sobeys. I actually, when I got outside the door, I met the gentleman that basically helped save my life there on October, just before Halloween. I had a bad bout of atrial fib, but the heart was actually going into a bit of a attack going on there. And he sat in there with me. I'd already made the call and give them the info. I think they knew who I was right away. But he said, I won't leave you. I'll stay with you the whole time. Never did get his name because I was in too much pain. But I just met him with his dog walking tonight, so I give him a big thank you there. Harry is a good guy there. He lives in a complex, but I haven't seen him for ages. Anyway, what else is new and exciting? I don't know, that squirrel that took off, that was a good, I got him back again. I wasn't going to let squirrel meat go. I love squirrel meat. I should have brought that stuffed one I have. Anyway, you and I we both have quite the beard. I'll challenge you to Jesus Christ Superstar part. We'll go up and audition. I'll take you with me. Anyway, anybody wants to go to Kingston, let's get a road party going. I got a van. I can take 3 at the very back seat, and that'll give us that 6 foot from the front. And if 2 in the middle want to wear, the mask and the gowns, we could do it that way. And then we can all check in the net as we're heading up there. Anyway, thanks there, Lex. Sorry, I was talking to Lex again. Thanks there, Laird. We'll catch you later. LKS 3 RPM.
Scotty, it's bad enough you messed up my name. You think you're going to use my call sign as VE3 LSD?
I like that one even better. Okay, I'll have to write that one down. Yeah, you never know, eh? Anyway, buddy, keep up the good work. We'll be listening.
Okay, very good. Yeah, well, the next time you're ordering squirrel from the grill there on roadkill night, yeah, I think you have to specify that you want it dead and cooked, not just brought on a plate so it can run away. Hi. Let's see. VE3 PWJ Peter.
Well, good evening, Laird, and everybody on frequency. You were talking about batteries. Well, you have 2 of them up at the repeater site, the big deep cycle ones. I've got 2 of them still here that I got from work years ago, and they've got to be over 12 years old. Mind you, they're big deep cycle batteries, and they weigh about 10 tons each. They are really heavy, so... But I do every 3 months. I just trickle charge them and keep them up, and they're working just fine now. So go and get some more beans for the pot, and we'll say good evening just in case you don't get back for the second round, Laird.
Oh, we'll get a second round in. We may not end at 8:15, but we'll get her in. And yeah, all the beans are putting in the pot. Maybe tomorrow night better be a chili night at the roadside bar and grill. Let's see, Jackie, last but definitely not least, the VA3 BTQ, VE3 LKS.
VA3 BTQ, hello everybody. This has been kind of a blah day. No walking was scant because of the wind and the rain. However, roadkill is very interesting. I have been watching a vulture take a dead raccoon, apart for the last 3 days. And whenever I pull up, he's there attacking the carcass, and he does not mind me watching him at all. Over.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I know Saturday morning when we were going to get groceries, one of the guys spotted a deer on the road. And I said, how many times did you have to swerve to get it? And can I have a couple of steaks off of it? But no, the deer was out in the field. But it's that time of year when you're going to get more and more of that as the animals are coming out. And yeah, the vultures, they've learned. I mean, it's crazy. You'll be driving down the road and they'll be out in the middle of the road and you think for sure you're going to hit them with the car, and at the last second they take off. They've got it down to a science, probably better than we could ever do, and so that they don't become roadkill themselves. Anyways, we've reached the bottom of the list from the first round of check-ins. So I'm going to take a brief standby and see if anybody else would like to check in with the Rag Chew this evening. If so, this is your opportunity now. This is Laird, VE3LKS.
VE3JAR.
VA3AG.
VE3IRB.
Okay, I acknowledge VE3JAR Vic, VA3AG Aldo, and VE3IRB Bob. Anybody else? Okay, very good. We've just sort of open mic tonight, so you can talk about whatever you want. Some guys have been talking about what they did today, and Robert, you had some interesting experiences today that you may want to share with the group. But with that, we will go to Vic, VE3JAR. Take it away, Vic.
Yeah, very, very good evening, Laird, and everybody. Everybody's got good signals, and you touched on something there, Laird, about bringing in feed lines into a house. So if you think you only need a small hole to get one or two coaxes through, think that over again, because once you start rolling in and putting up antennas, put in a big 4-inch or 6-inch hole. You can always plug it with steel wool to keep the rodents out, but it's kind of hard to put 10 or 12 lines of coax through a 2-inch hole. But anyways, we've had the hot spot going here all day on DMR on the TJIF network out of Spain, so that's been kind of interesting. And also working a few stations on FT8, so it was wonderful to hear South Sudan, Zulu 81 Delta on 40 meters today. So we've been working into Europe and Africa on 40, over.
Oh, very nice, Vic. It's nice when you can make contacts like that. I'd hate to see the size of the hole in your apartment and the cable going up to your antenna site. Hi. But yeah, it's I never get lucky like that. I think I've talked to a bit of North Africa, but never down into Sudan and places like that. So maybe someday I'll be able to do it. But so far, it's sort of eluded me. At least more recently. VA3AG, VE3LKS. Good evening, Aldo.
Yeah, good evening, Laird, and all on frequency here. I'm trying to figure out what this noise is. I don't know if you can hear that. It's on 10 meters, and it's, what is it, about every 10 kcs or so, 10, 12 kcs. Don't know where it's coming from, but it's been there all day, and I thought it was my next door neighbor's plasma TV, but it's not. They just turned it off. I don't hear it on 75, but I do have that noise here on 75 as well. Sounds like this. Anyway, does anybody know what that is?
On there a long time.
Sorry, what was that, Colin?
Yeah, okay, although it's Gerard here. 3 Word. Yeah, that's been around a long time. It's all over the place. But I can hear it on... It's on 75 right now. I'm listening at 3884, and it's up there and down. It seems to move around all the time, too, up and down the band. I guess probably somebody rushing over the horizon junk or something.
Yeah, they're bringing that back, the over-horizon radar.
Oh, okay.
so that's what it is. I was wondering what it was. It's on 15. It's on 10. On 6 meters as well. I can hear it. On 75. Yeah. It's been there, along with the plasma television noise from next door that's driving me up the wall. They just turned it off. They started this morning at 8 a.m. and they just turned it off. So it's usually 12 hours, and then after that I can play radio. Oh, well. I don't understand how Industry Canada would accept that kind of interference from a plasma television. What were they thinking of? Well, oh well. What can you do? So what's new with you, Laird? Nice to hear you, and all on frequency, of course, and the repeater sounding good here. Oh yes, one observation. A couple days ago, I was listening here on OSH, and I heard VE3NAA, what was it, Morse code identification. I wonder what was that about. Larry, go ahead.
That happens, Aldo. We have a PC up at the repeater site that's being used as the controller for the VE3 OSH repeater. It was also used at one time as the controller for NAA. It would control both of them at the same time. We have since taken NAA off that controller because, as you know, we bought the module off you last year for the Fusion, and so it's more or less a standalone repeater right now, and they're going to put the Fusion board in it and set that up for Fusion. And however, they didn't rem out the code for NAA, so when the PC gets hung or reboots for some reason, it's sort of a flip the coin and see which repeater it's going to grab. And so when it came back up, it decided it was going to be NAA that day. And so Bob graciously went in that evening during the net and reset it. And now it's back to OSH. But yeah, they just need to go in and apparently rem out some lines of code. They just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. So every once in a while that will happen. And there's a Scott online. He's VA3 WSP. He's on the YouTube channel, and he's having fun with the guys over there at the Roadkill Cafe tonight. And we got quite a crew on. I think at one time there was 17 people on the YouTube channel, so that's good. So I hope that answers your question, Aldo. And so that's why that happens with the OSH occasionally. Eventually it won't happen. They'll just rem out those lines of code and we'll all be good. Let's see. VE3 IRB, Robert.
VE3 IRB. In regards to putting cable through walls and plugging it, I agree with Vic. Don't use insulation. He mentioned using steel wool. Personally, I prefer the stainless steel wool. Then if water gets in it or whatever, you don't get any rust strips. What I was doing today, got out my rotor tiller. It was great. Started on first pull after putting new gas in it, and doubled the size of my garden. And then I had a problem. I went to turn it off. The throttle was stuck, and the kill switch wouldn't work. I couldn't get the spark plug off without any tools, and I couldn't leave the machine because it was spinning away. Finally managed to reach down and get the throttle and make it stall. But that was my fun for the day. I got it done, but it was a little bit of a head scratch there as I was standing there with this machine going full throttle and trying to figure out how to stop it. That was my day. Back to you.
Excellent. And just out of curiosity, Bob, is that a front tine or a rear tine rototiller?
It's a front tine. I tried tipping the machine on backwards, trying to starve it of fuel,
Okay, very good. And before we go back up to the top of the list, I'll take one more call for check-ins on the first round. This is Laird VE3LKS, and if you want to join the Rag Chew, now's your opportunity.
VE3CIU 73, good night to all, been a good net. I gotta go.
Okay, very good, Bill. Thanks for joining us this evening, and have a good evening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. All the way back up at the top, I feel like the green giant, or the friendly giant, look up, look way up, all the way up to Jeffrey, VA3RTV.
Yeah, well, thank you, Ed. When we were talking about or listening to John's intermittent there, while I was listening, I was thinking, it sounds to me like the push-to-talk switch isn't quite making, or he's just not pushing it in hard enough. And I think Bob came back with exactly the same comment. So then when John came on the second time around, there was no problem. So maybe that's all it is. Or it could be a noisy switch or something. Okay, then let's see. A couple of other quick things. As far as car batteries go, typically 5 years is about all you get out of them before they deteriorate and they're not as efficient. But what I do is to do a proper test, I charge them up fully, and then I have a carbon pile load that I put on, and I take 300 amps for about 15 seconds, and then and it's got to stay above 10 volts. And if it fails that, then that's it, toast. Of course, you can't do that with a motorcycle battery because they can't handle that really. But and I know with the motorcycle batteries, they're a real pain, especially with my huge engine with a tiny battery. It's I keep it basically the thing on charge all the time, but it's a smart charger. So as soon as it's reached its surface voltage, it shuts down to absolute zero and waits until it drops off a bit. So that's working okay at the moment. And just one last little note: did you receive the pictures of my nephew's tractor there, Ed?
Yes.
And with that, back to you.
Yes, I forgot to mention that. Yes, I did get those pictures, and that's quite the little rig. It was a Cub Cadet. I knew what when you said it was yellow, I figured it was that machine. But do you think I could remember that name last night? And yeah, that's quite the thing with the straight pipes coming out the side and the bigger tires on the back. So that's quite the rig. I think if they have tractor pulls this summer, we may get a huge contingent of amateurs going and checking these things out. Hi, they're quite the interesting contraption, and glad that now is that your brother's nephew? Like, is that one of his children's children, or is that one of your son's kids?
It's my twin brother Stephen. It's his son's lad, and the second picture I sent you, there's my twin brother, so that's not me, and then there's Daniel, which is Stephen's son, and he's huge and muscular and tattoos and what have you, but he's the most gentlest spoken person you could ever talk to, and he is a firefighter and like, you know, really, really nice fella. There's not a bad word in his vocabulary. He just is such a nice fella. Bob's met him there, and I think Bob would agree as well. And yeah, and of course Colin is, I think he's about Ryland's age, and another really nice kid. You know, they're very well spoken and very well behaved. Back to you, Led.
Excellent. Well, that doesn't happen too much nowadays, so it's good to hear that, and it's nice to see kids doing stuff like that. That is more than just sitting in front of their Xbox and wasting away their life. Let's see if Mike's back from his walk. BA6HEM. Okay, nothing heard. VA3 DCE Doug, and you got some competition now from Fenland Falls.
I'm not sure what you mean. I was tuning in on the haircutting problems. I can't see you got a problem yet, Laird. There's no shine. Now, Michelle and I have this thing going. His is voluntary. Mine is not a lifestyle choice or a choice like that. I've been wondering, how do you take care of what I got other than to wear a hat? Is there some solution here that I don't know about, Laird? Back to you, 7-3, everybody, and this is a great net again tonight.
Yes, Doug. When you're grocery shopping, you go to the cleaning aisle, and they have this stuff called Mop and Glow, and you just put some of that on there, and then when it dries, you buff it up a bit with a nice soft cloth, and you're good to go. And it gives you the added benefit of being more aerodynamic. So there's less wind resistance up there. Hi. And just looking online, and it looks like Jimmy SOI is on the YouTube channel this evening, and so is Harry VE3 HMF. So good evening to those fine gentlemen. And let's see, we'll head on down the list to VA3 KJI in case Grant's back. Okay, nothing heard. Grant must still be out on the walk. VA3 BAH, Brian.
Well, thanks for the check-in. Just daydreaming here, checking. I subscribe to the Britannica Encyclopedia History, Today in History, so I was just checking that out. A lot of things happened today, years ago, but I won't bore you with that. Going back to what you said earlier about a bridge between All-Star and IRLP and DMR, yes, they do exist, but you got to be a programmer to figure it out. Beyond me, I'll tell you. And regarding holes in the wall, we upgraded from an old hot water tank to hot water on demand, and the existing vent didn't meet code. So I told the guy to leave the hole, and I used that to run some coax in. But instead of steel wool or insulation, I went to the dollar store and I bought a noodle. You know, the kind you use in your backyard pool. And I slit it, put the coax in the noodle, and then shoved the noodle like a hot dog into the PVC. So, cuts down on the draft, and the bugs haven't gone after it so far. Back to you.
Yeah, those noodles seem to have a lot of purpose other than floating around a pool. I've seen people use them for all sorts of things. So, for bumpers on the edge of a sharp table when you have little kids around, and they're the right size and they're the right price. So it sounds good, Brian, and that would work. The mice probably don't appreciate that flavor too much or the texture, and they're definitely not getting any nutrition. Hi. Steve, VA3 TPS.
Okay, Laird, very good. Well, great conversation once tonight. Lots of people on the net. Once again, thank you, Laird, for being there and doing it for us. And I'll say 7-3s and 7-3. Everybody, have a safe night, and I'll be listening to the end. Take care. VA3 TPS from Fennel Falls.
Okay, very good. Well, thanks for joining us this evening, Steve. And just letting you know, Friday night is now Past President's Night. That means that the past president has to run the net every Friday night. So just make sure you got a good pad of paper and a pen handy, or maybe two in case one breaks, and be ready to go there.
Oh, my antenna might get blown over in the wind there, Laird.
Okay, well, I'll be on standby just in case. Very good. VE3 CWR Gerard.
Yeah, okay, very good, Laird. Yeah, car batteries. Well, I worked at Exide, and I think I was on a layoff 68, 69. somewhere back there. Excite Batteries out on Dixie Road. There's a process planner, and I used to put all the plates into that and charge them all up. But anyway, the difference was the car battery was pretty well good, better, best. And of course, the best had more plates and went down from there. But all the military batteries that they guaranteed, and they were all two, they weren't one-piece covers. All the cells were separate. All the military batteries had a little plastic clip in the bottom that held the plates from vibrating, because they said 90% of burnout is a little piece of lead will fall down in between the plates and shorten. So all the military batteries that they built all had this little plastic clip holding each set of plates in from the bottom, so they wouldn't rattle or move. And they said that was the big difference there. I know they paid about 4 or 5 times more for the battery, but I guess the plastic clip was worth the money there. Anyway, back to net, and looks very good. Laird, keep up the good work there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still the case, but I would love to have the contract to sell them hammers too, because I remember they were buying hammers at an inflated price, like 10 times the cost that you could get them at Canadian Tire. So I thought, well, how hard is that? You go to Canadian Tire, you buy them. I could sell them for only 5 times the amount. They could save some money, and I'd make some money. But yeah, I don't know if that still happens nowadays, but I know it used to go on. Let's see if Walter's back. I'm quite sure I heard Walter checking in. VE3FJC. No, I have to scratch him off the list. I must have been hearing things. VE3HIX, Bob.
Thanks, Laird. Yeah, I just put a little comment on the side there that you can hear and see that interference on 80 meters and beyond if you have a look online for a software-defined radio and have a look at the waterfall on it. And I just wanted to mention before we go that yeah, I think your haircut suits you. My own is way too long, so my own new look is I call this the in the wind, the Boris Johnson look. He's the British Prime Minister, and that's the last I'll say about politics tonight. Then back to you, Laird. PE3HIX.
Yes, my only saving grace was that I had just had my hair cut before this whole thing started. So, and they shut down all the barber shops. So normally I have it almost right down to the wood anyways. And the top just sort of pushed forward with a bit of a, I guess you call it a cowlick at the front. But yeah, it has a tendency of growing. And, the camera helps out too, because it's, even though it's 1080p, it's only sending frames at 30 frames per second, so it has a tendency of getting rid of defects that may normally show up if it was a faster frame rate. Hi. And let's see, we'll take it down to William, VA3WBZ.
Hey, Laird, back here with you guys again. Couple things on my mind here. First thing, remember these old military generators that they had back in the Second War, I guess it is? They had the little cage around them. They had an iron horse motor on them. They had 36 volts on them. Well, as far as I know, I'm going to pick one of these things up tomorrow down the farm and bring it home. It's going to be one of my little projects to do a restoration on. And I've got a couple 36-volt light bulbs off the old red G trains that the city used to ride for the subway trains. I got a couple of those things there, so I got some plans for that thing. And also, my brother has a couple of old lawnmowers. They're riding ones. He's also got one of these here portable Johnny on the spot, the outhouses. He's gutted this thing on the inside, so it's just a shell. And he's going to mount it on this here riding lawnmower. And he's going to put a little clothesline on to hang clothesline. But
He's also got a 2-foot speaker. I'm going to drop for a second. He's got a 2-foot speaker, and he wants to play music into it. So I told him I've got this here portable 8-track player and an amplifier. So I'm taking that down to him, and he's going to get a friend of his to hook all this up so that as they go through parades in these small towns, they have steam shows and this show and that show sort of thing for Christmas and stuff like that. He's going to ride this outhouse around, and he's sit inside on the lawnmower, play music of whatever the occasion is, and get a few laughs out of a lot of stuff. It's, he's a bit of an oddball in that respect. He likes doing things like that for the steam shows and that. And I've got that generator, like I say, I'm going to work on that too. It's 36 volts, and I'll have more of a look at it tomorrow when I bring it home. Back to you, Laird. And I read one of the comics, Laird, before I do go here. Somebody said...
Node 27838. Time out.
Well, they asked you if you're doing a mullet or something like that, eh? But I said, nah, that doesn't look nothing like a mullet. Looks pretty well looked after to me. Well kept. Back to you, Laird.
Yeah, it's not long enough yet to do a mullet. So I hope I don't have to get to that stage. If I do, I'm just going to take my beard trimmer out that I've got somewhere in the house from when I used to grow a beard, and I'll just take her down and have a buzz cut all over the place. And just a couple of questions. That generator that you're going to pick up, how heavy would that be? Because, I mean, they didn't make light stuff in the Second World War. And secondly, a good song for him to play in that outhouse would be, I want to call it the Flight of the Valkyries. I don't know if the word flight is in there, but I think everyone knows what I'm referring to. And that would be great for the outhouse coming down the street.
Green grass at home.
There you go, Gerard. That's a good one, too. They're not that heavy. I think about, maybe 125 pounds, something like that. You can pick them up and walk with them without a problem, I think. Gerard, you've seen those things, I believe. What would it be, 125, 150, something like that?
Yeah, well, you can walk with it. Anything over 5 pounds, I can't get off my seat. Yeah, I guess so, Billy. Yeah, I think you can light any kind of a light bulb with it.
Yeah, they're 36 volts is what they are, because they're made to power the radio equipment on the Jeeps that in the Army. And I believe that we're working on 36 volts. You correct me if I'm wrong on that. But, they'd also have a light. They usually had these things in the back of Jeeps, and sometimes they'd be in the field as well when they were setting up someplace as well. Anyway, I hope to bring one back tomorrow. I just got to bring it out of the car that they use down there for storage down there. It's an old station wagon of some sort, of American Motors car of some sort, something like that. Anyway, all that, and I'm also getting a gas-powered hand drill as well, I think. Okay, back to you, Laird.
Yeah, I think they used to light the carbon arc with that too, Bill. Anyway, back to you, Laird.
Okay, very good. And maybe we can have one of our topics one night, songs that are appropriate for outhouses and parades, and we'll get you a whole bunch of ideas there, Bill. VE3 VGJ Joe.
Yeah, Roger, on the outhouse, that's a good idea what he's doing that. I've seen that before one place, and on the outhouse they have the number 4, the letter U, the number 2, the letter P, and the letter N, or UPN, if you read it real quick. Anyway, it was kind of funny there seeing that, but very good. It's always a lot of humor when they make those things up. And what was the other thing? Haircuts, yes. It was just before everything was shut down. I was parked getting some stuff at this plaza, and there's a barber in front of me, or a hairdresser, and they did men's hair, and I called them from the phone number. And yes,
that was the last day where they were open. So I got one haircut under the wire. I think next time if that happened again, I'd get them to take twice as much off because it's going pretty good right now. And other than that, not much else to report on, Laird. I got a subject maybe for tomorrow. I'll send you an email. And it's just an idea anyway. Back to you.
Yeah, I'm always up for ideas, and anything special for Friday night too. That'd be awesome. Maybe we can try to make Friday night something really special, and liven it up just a bit more. Let's see. Who's up next? Larry, VE3LWJ. Did you use Morse code, Larry? Larry must still be out there doing pots and pans. Either that or he tapped out SOS by mistake and they've hauled him off to the hospital thinking he was in distress. We'll try Larry again in a few minutes. VE3KZT, John.
Evening again, still here. Maybe after the net I can get one or maybe both of those fellas, Jeffrey and Bob, to give me a hand to tune this thing up, because I just looked in the menu. There's 8 different settings for a box, and what I'm using is a high-out headset with a mic on, so maybe I don't have something set right. Back to you, sir, and enjoyable net, and we'll hang in till the end. VE3KZT. Laird?
Yes, go ahead.
Speaking about the haircuts out there, my wife's a hairstylist. I was thinking of asking to go and do haircuts at home, but I was thinking, keep your distance and all that. Her arms aren't 6 feet long, so that won't work either. VA3, WB, that's clear.
And it sounds like he was using a box setting. That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, William, I'm glad your wife doesn't have 6-foot arms, because that would make her like an orangutan. Don't tell her I said that, please. I'm sure she's a very nice lady. And now that you mention it, John, it does sort of happen when we do hear it happen. It's sort of when you're pausing between words. So that would make sense if it's Vox, and I think Bob just agreed. So after the net, sure. As soon as I close it down, you and Jeffrey and Bob can go at it and discuss it a bit further. VE3IGX, Cam.
Okay, another nice job, Laird. And I have nothing else to add, so I'll say 73 to everybody online. And I'll be here till the end. VE3LKS, VE3IGX.
Nice having you with us again this evening, Cam. And yes, it's nice that you can drop in and stick around with us. I know for me, it's the fastest hour and a half in the day that I know of, because you just get started and then it's over, and you look at my watch, and like tonight it'll probably be close to 8:30 by the time we're done. VE3 RPN, Scotty.
Thank you there, VE3 LKS, VE3 RPN. I got it right that time. I was just thinking there with Joe having to wear that mask. Another thing too, if you got a bit of a cold or something, or one of your co-workers, if you have any still left there, happens to smell pretty bad, put a fisherman's friend in your mouth while you're wearing that mask, and it'll heal every problem you have. Laird probably knows all about that. Anyway, I'll leave you guys and love you. Had a great nap with you. I really look forward to this in the evening. I don't even go out all day just so I can hang out with you guys tonight. I'll let the wife do that. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys, and we'll be listening for darn sure. 73, good job there, Laird. Over to you, deck control.
Excellent, Scotty. Well, that's why we started it anyways, just as another social outlet during this time when everyone's cooped up inside, as per instructions, and gives people a chance to talk to someone else than the other people in the house, and it gives people a chance also to reach out for help, like if they need parts or something from the store and someone's going out and they shouldn't be going out, then by all means, I'm sure there's guys that would step in and give a hand. And let's see, the fisherman's friend. Actually, Scotty, I preferred Vicks, but you know what Scotty's referring to is I used to help a friend of mine. He has a business where he picks up bodies, and you get a decomp that's been a person who's been expired for 2 or 3 weeks, and it can be quite ripe, but you get used to it after a while. And but I know the police officers, they'll put a mask on, and then they'll put a bit of Vicks inside the mask so they don't have to smell it, because the odor comes through no matter what. So that's what Scotty's referring to. VE3 PWJ, Peter.
Oh, this was a really great net, Laird, by the way. And I'd like to say good evening to that real pretty nurse up there at Solby. So, because you never know what he's going to come up with, so we better not even ask Laird to be on the safe side. So Diane said to tell you we're going to be up to see you guys on Saturday, so she was going to try and get all the apple fritters before you got there.
Well, you let that fine, beautiful wife of yours know that if she gets all the apple fritters before we get ours, there's going to be trouble a brewing.
She'll just probably cut you off all the deviled eggs.
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah, it's amazing. I know when we could used to be able to go in there and eat on a Saturday morning, back when, if anybody remembers that far back, before we got booted out. I think I talked to them one weekend. I think they make 1,400 of those things every weekend. They only sell them apparently Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but they make 1,400 of them, and they sell almost all of them. So that's an amazing amount. Now, I'm sure they're probably not selling quite as many right now, but still, you think about that, that's a lot of apple fritters. And to think that we only put a very small dent in that. I guess we got to step our game up there, Peter. VA3 BTQ, Jackie. VA3 BTQ, Jackie. Okay, nothing heard. VE3 JAR, Vic. Oh, I hope I haven't put everyone to sleep. Maybe Jackie took a scamp out for a walk after all, but I hope I didn't lull Vic into a slumber there with my droning on and on the repeater. VE3 JAR, you still with us? Okay, nothing heard. VA3AG, Aldo. Oh, I know Aldo usually goes for supper about this time of night, and his wife's a pretty wicked cook, so I'm sure he doesn't miss too many meals at home. VE3IRB.
VE3IRB. I always like to talk about the old equipment. The generator and arc lamp reminds me when I was a kid, I picked up a device that had an arc lamp, and at a sale, I brought it home, plugged it in. I think the lights dimmed in the neighborhood, and wow, did that thing throw off a lot of light. And I think it was Sir, I was fairly young at the time, I think it was Sir suggested that I get rid of it. And unfortunately, I don't have it anymore, but it was impressive, noisy too. But that was my fun with arc lamps. I'll have to find another one sometime. VE3IRB, I'll say 73, and be monitoring. Thanks.
Excellent, Bob. Yeah, I could see that happening. For some reason, you strike me as the type of person that would do something like that, right? Sort of along the lines of Jeffrey. You know, I can see Jeffrey doing crazy stuff like that. Bob, HIX, he was probably more the quieter type that would do stuff, but no one would guess that it was him. Hi. Anyways, we've reached the end of the list for the evening, and I'll just take one more standby in case anybody else wants to check in. It looks like Jeff has shut down the grill. He's got the wool out and cleaning it all up for the evening, so it's ready to go tomorrow. And I will take just a brief standby to see if there's anyone else that would want to check in with the COVID-19 Rag Chew this evening.
VE3 Kilo Mike, Quebec.
Okay, VE3 Kilo Mike, Quebec. I don't know your handle, but welcome to the COVID-19 Rag Chew this evening.
Yeah, good evening. Name here is Mike, and the QTH is Burlington. I'm not sure how well you're hearing me. I've got the repeater coming in about half scale, about 5 bars out of 10, so a bit of noise, but that's kind of typical for my reception of the Oshawa repeater. So just to check in, I hear you're just winding up, so I thought I'd throw the proverbial bean in the pot there. Back to you, VE3 KMQ.
Excellent, Mike. Well, thanks for dropping into the net this evening. And just so you know, we're doing it every evening, every weekday evening, that is, at 7 o'clock. So Monday to Friday at 7 p.m. For the duration of this COVID-19 outbreak, where we've been told to stay hunkered down and don't go associate with anybody. So if you ever need something to do in an evening, by all means, feel free to pop onto OSH and give us a shout, and we'll work you into the Rag Chew. And by the way, your signal is beautiful into the repeater. It's almost full quieting.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you for the offer, and I'll try to make a mental note of that. And good to hear I'm doing well over on OSH there. Thank you, 73, and take care all. VE3 Kilo Mike, Quebec.
Excellent, Mike. Oh, just a quick question. You said you're in Burlington. So are you on the lower part by the lake or more up on the hill?
I'm in the west end, which is known as Aldershot. So I'm actually closer to downtown Hamilton probably than I am to downtown Burlington. I am near Burlington Bay, so that puts me on the west side of the Skyway Bridge. If you're familiar with the area, I'm well west of the Skyway Bridge, not too far from the shoreline of Burlington Bay.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we've got a pretty good line of sight to that location, so that's why you're getting in so well. Well, again, thanks for checking in this evening, and you're more than welcome to join us again. And it's just a very laid-back group. We try to have a different topic every night, and we're always welcome to have other people on. And we also stream it on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and look up my call sign, oops, sorry, just about cough there. VE3 Lima Kilowatt Sierra. You'll see our live stream. Did it for giggles one night. Now if I don't start it, guys get mad at me. Anyways, nice chatting, Mike, and have a good evening. VE3 KMQ, VE3 LKS. And who was it? John, I think you wanted to talk with Bob and Jeffrey. So, John, I'll let you take it away. This is VE3 LKS.
Okay, Larry, thanks very much. And we got the two experts online there. I went while you were talking. I went into the menu, and there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 settings for Vox. So I don't know which one I should be using.
I think you're holding the box. Your voice level is holding it. I don't know, but the 9 settings or 9 different levels of one setting. But perhaps your timing, your timeout, or delay, or whatever it is on that particular rig, you might want to set that up for a couple of seconds so that if you take a breath, it doesn't drop the carrier and then pick it back up again when you speak the next word. Over.
Okay, Bob, so I'll just go into the list here and give you an idea what it is. It's Vox Select, Vox Gain. What else have I got here? Vox Delay, Anti-Vox Gain, Out-of-Vox Gain, Out-of-Vox Delay, Anti-Vox Gain. What's in there?
Vox stuff is so that something coming out of your speaker doesn't trip the Vox. And it sounds right. You're not coming in by just sitting there and listening and having something coming out the speaker and into the microphone. But it's the Vox delay. You might want to make that one a little bit longer than you have it right now, just so it doesn't drop off between words or between sentences. Over.
Okay, just as a factory default is 500 milliseconds is the way it's factory default.
If it was mine, I'd set it up for 2 seconds just to see what happens. Yes, when you turn it over to somebody else, people jump right in there with push to talk, of course. So you might miss the first word, but you should be a little safer after that.
Okay, I'm up to 1,000 millisecond there.
Maybe a little bit more.
The E3KZT at 1,200 milliseconds.
Oh, that's a little nicer. That sounds like you you came to the end of a sentence and you released the push to talk button. We could try it there for tomorrow night and see what it sounds like for real. Over.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, because so many buttons and whistles on this thing. Like I said, I don't know, and I'm using a high-out headset with the earphones and the Vox mic, so it's just a matter of getting the thing set properly. Thanks, Bob.
Our pleasure. We'll listen for you tomorrow night. The E3HIXO.
The A3RTV. Are you still there, lad?
Yes, I am just doing a bit of office duties, tidying up from the rag chew this evening. VE3LKS.
Yeah, at the very beginning of the ragnet or dragnet or ragchew or whatever. I don't know if we got an official name yet, but I do like the ragnet. Any case, I mentioned about how when I wasn't very well, I decided to sort all this gear out that I've got, and Bob made labels for these boxes, and I got all organised. But what I hadn't sorted out was to do some sort of schedule to keep everything charged, and that's what I was mentioning. There are a few other things radio related that should be on that list, and I'm just going through them, and one of them is your new Nano. So whether you use it or not, like every few months, you should just put it onto a charge, and if you got it on the book, you can go through everything and make sure that you haven't missed something, because I do have a Bluetooth device for my 400 before they discontinued it, and I really never used it, and when I went to use it, the battery wouldn't take a charge, so I did kind of fudge it and get it going, but I'm now got an external battery, so it's quite a small battery, but it's still too big to go inside, and it now works great, and I've just charged that up as well. So my recommendation is to make a list include anything that needs recharging, all to do with the amateur radio stuff. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Yes, I've noticed on my Nano, it doesn't hold a charge all that long anyway, so maybe I'll need to look at replacing the battery at some point, because I think if I let it sit for a couple of weeks and then fire it up, it doesn't seem to work, unless, of course, I accidentally left it on, and that could very well be the case. But yes, I'll put that on the list of things to do.
Yeah, okay, and thank you very much, Led, and it's very good of you to do this. You really have got the skills and the diplomacy and that to do this better than I can think of anyone else in the world, so that's great. All the best. Have a good evening, Led. VA3RTV.
Okay, very good. And I think I just got a message from Bill. Bill, are you there wanting to make a contact on OSH?
Yeah, Laird, I'm just making sure I've got this YouTube thing set up so I can send replies now. Yeah, great. It's working now. This way I can watch it, and if I have to make some comments, I can do that as well. Thanks so much, fellas. Laird, 7-3s, guys. It's been a great net as usual. A lot of hilarity as usual. Take care, guys. I'm Claire. Stay safe. You heard the saying before, 6 feet apart or 6 feet under? Well, there we go. E3, WBs, that's Claire.
No, there is a choice. Very good. Well, glad having you with us tonight, Bill, and glad you were able to get set up on line there. And Gary. Gary Zed is saying, sadly, there's no way to get a license during the shutdown. Yeah, I don't know. Have you? I guess I could take this offline. But Gary, if you can hear me, have you studied for the license? Okay, let me send an email off to one of our examiners and see if RAC will allow us to do exams. I know I heard that some clubs were doing it where you were keeping your distance. You would sit in your vehicle, the examiner would sit in theirs, and you would write the test and sort of do it like that. But let me check. And if you don't mind, go to our website, which is ve3osh.com. I'll say it again, ve3osh.com. And fire me off an email. My name should be under the contacts there. And I will get back to you that way. Okay, and with that being said, looks like Gary got some information and he'll send me a message. And yeah, over Skype would be neat. I'll talk to Darren too. So Darren's send me some information, Darren, and I'll check out what they did as well. And where the fellow was and maybe who his examiner was, so I can get some details. Because yeah, during the shutdown, it'd be nice if we could still do the exams. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to say 73, guys, and going to head upstairs and have a nice hot shower and get some beauty sleep. I need quite a bit, not quite as much as Alex, but I need quite a bit still. So 73 VE3 LKS, and I'll be clear.
VE3, IRB. I was wondering if Jeffrey's still on.